Welcome to episode 1 of the Assassin 32 VR podcast. Today I'll be interviewing a developer who created his own game in order to lose weight, and he lost a significant amount of weight. Ben Ricks is a really good dude. Stay tuned for the interview and game key giveaways at the end. Hey everyone, what's shaking? I'm talking with Ben Ricks from Three Pupper Studios today. He is the developer for Shadow BoXR VR game on both Quest 2 and Steam. It was recently released. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat.
So everyone stay tuned until the end for your chance to win a free copy of Shadow BoXR, and I'll give you the details at the end. But let's get started. So Ben, what led you to make your own VR game?
So a couple different things. I've always loved making things. Always made tons of little different games, just like hobby type things. But what really was the kicker was my son. I've always struggled with weight my entire life. I've managed to use VR to sort of remedy that. And I started playing a bunch of VR games to try and use it as exercise, like Beat Saber and a couple of other different games. And they didn't quite give me what I wanted out of a workout. Like I wanted I wanted the music, I wanted the customizability, I wanted all these different things, and nothing could offer that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try and make one for myself. And so that became my new passion project, and it just sort of developed into an actual game. And as I got more and more into it, I just got more and more excited about it actually being a real game because it's the first time I've ever made a real game.
That's very cool. I love that you just took it upon yourself to make what you wanted if it wasn't out there already.
hmm
So so as a fitness guy, I mean, you don't appear to be someone that needs a lot of fitness in your life. You seem like you're in good shape.
I am now. I didn't used to be. So back in 2019, I was 300 pounds and really poor shape, not like just definitely not the best version of myself. And like I said, I've always had a hard time with weight. Like I was overweight and all throughout high school, and just been obese for the large portion of my life, elementary school, etc. But yeah, so that's why I love VR so much because it's helped me lose over 110 pounds, uh, just using VR as my only source of exercise.
That's absolutely incredible. I mean, that's really incredible using VR to lose that amount of weight.
Yeah,
So
it's been a wild ride.
so how long did that take?
So I started at the so my kid was born in 2020, and that's when I decided I'm losing weight. So about the end of 2020, so it's been about a 2.5 year journey so far. I was able to shave off most of it after about a year and a half, and then it's just from there, it's been a little bit of incremental, tiny amounts of loss.
That's impressive on so many levels. I mean, it's there's so much good stuff in that story. There's the weight loss. There's the you took it upon yourself to create the game that helped you with the weight loss. There's the dedication to stick to it. It's all really really impressive to me.
I appreciate that.
So how does Shadow Boxer help you lose weight? Tell us a little bit about the game.
So Shadow BoXR, do you know what do you know about? Do you know anything about actual shadow boxing?
Very little.
Okay, so one of the things that a lot of boxers will do to help practice and to stay in shape is they will shadow box, which is basically just punching the air, doing actual like maneuvers and boxing the air, which to me is boring, and pretty much every form of exercise is boring. I don't want to get on the elliptical and just like watch a show because that's like a lot of exerted effort for not fun.
Yeah.
I tried playing video games while I was walking on a treadmill and I just couldn't get into that. But what Shadow BoXR, its intended purpose, it allows you to listen to music that you actually like, because it's built at the core of it is customization and custom content. So you can put your own songs, you can listen to your own music, and so you can use your music while you're boxing and punching targets as they fly towards you, and really getting into like the groove of the music as the notes fly in at patterns to match the beats. Because it's a at its heart, it's a rhythm boxing game, and so all that movement after after a good hard workout. So I usually play for about 30 minutes, but like if I'm really trying hard, about 10 minutes, I'm panting. Like I've got sweat dripping down my face and things like that.
Okay, so it's sort of it's a rhythm based boxing game, but it's got the modded Beat Saber element to allow you to add your own music.
Yeah, so I got a Quest and I wanted to listen to custom music and Beat Saber, and I was like, man, it's so much effort to mod Beat Saber to be able to have custom music, even music that is like I own. Because and so I was like, you know what, the game that I'm gonna make, it's gonna be built-in functionality. It's just from day one, you can load it up and you can put your songs on it, easy peasy.
So what's the process for putting the music in?
So there's a couple things. If you want to, you can connect your Quest to your computer and drag and drop the files. It uses for custom content. It uses beat maps or the Beat Saber beat maps specifically. Or you can just go in game. There's a tab for community content, and it just pulls up a massive list, like a massive library of community content that you can search through, scroll through, listen to before you download it. That's the way I usually do it because it's so easy.
So to be totally honest, I've played a little bit of Shadow BoXR and went in there and did the community content, and it was so easy. It was honestly a piece of cake. And what I was really happy with, so with modded Beat Saber, I found that the quality of the content was all over the place. There were times where a song would have a fast, heavy beat in the beginning, and you would stand there for 30 seconds waiting for a note. And I did not see that at all on Shadow BoXR. Everything seemed to just work the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, so that sometimes things can get a little crazy, but I put a lot of work into converting those Beat Saber beat maps into Boxer Shadow Boxer maps, so that they are like you can download a Beat Saber beat map that only has Expert Plus on like 360 mode, and I will auto generate all the different maps that you can have. You can have standard and 90 and leg days, all of those. All the algorithm that I have, it auto generates them and basically forces them into, while keeping the rhythm and fun, forcing them into a more boxing and workout coherent pattern.
That is very cool. That is it's really easy the way it works. I mean, it's one of those things that sometimes when you're doing anything that you call modding, it gets so difficult and frustrating. But it's all done within the game on Shadow BoXR.
Yeah, absolutely. No modding. I love modding. If people want mods, I will put mod support in, but I've never fight against mods. But yeah, I don't like it's so much effort to mod.
Mhm.
Just put it in the game.
Sure, absolutely. So, do you have a background in game design?
I do. So I have a major in 3D animation and game development, and then for my career, I'm a technical artist at a game studio.
Okay, okay. And then you started Three Pupper Studios. That is you are Three Pupper Studios, or is it a big mega corporation?
It's just me.
Okay.
I've gotten help from a couple family members and friends, but for the most part, it's just me.
Okay. So when you are supporting when you're buying the game Shadow Boxer, you're supporting a person, not a corporation.
Yeah, yeah. You're
Very cool.
you're helping me, specifically helping me make the game better because all the funds that I get for the game, I'm putting back into it to like I want to hire a UX artist that can really make the game just so smooth and clean and crisp and get some good music and things like that.
So you're still in development on Shadow Boxer then?
Yeah, absolutely. I've still got a lot of features that I want to include. I don't want to get into the specifics of them in case for some reason I'm not able to,
Sure.
but yeah, I've pretty much every night. I work on it for maybe an hour. After my kids go to bed, I sit down and work before I go back to work the next morning.
It's cool that you have that level of dedication to that.
That's it's a lot of fun actually.
Eh,
Just the excitement of like this is something real. I'm making something real. I can't believe I'm actually doing this. Yeah, I love
It's
to do it.
there's so many things. It's like if it feels like it's a job, it's hard to do. If it feels like it's a workout, it's hard to do. If it's
Hmm.
fun, it's easy to go in there and you're just having fun, but you're also getting exercise.
Exactly.
I found out with basketball when I was in my 20s, I was playing basketball 6 nights a week, and I don't know how many miles I was running every time we would play, but I never thought of it as exercise. I was having fun.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Probably the best shape of your life at that point because of how many miles you were running, but it was just fun.
absolutely. So, where did the name Three Pupper Studios come from?
So I bounced a lot of different ideas back between my friends. One of them, so I have two dogs and a cat, and so but the cat acts like a dog. Like he'll do high fives and he'll sit, he'll come when I call him, all sorts of fun little cat like dog things that you wouldn't expect of a cat. And so and in addition to that, my child he barks like a dog. Like he'll just like pick things up and run around like I'm a doggy, daddy. And so basically, I was bouncing between Fuzzy Games because my nickname is Fuzzy or Fuzzinator or Three Pupper Studios, and finally landed on Three Pupper Studios because it just seemed more fun.
Very cool. So, to remind everyone, we're talking about to Fuzzinator from Three Pupper Studios. Tell me about the process for getting on App Lab.
So App Lab, it was a little bit of a process. It was thankfully they have some very like streamlined specific specifications that you have to go through. I don't think I ran into too many like big issues. I did have to. I think I resubmitted like 4 or 5 times. Just the hardest part was trying to get the art to be able to actually put it on my game's page because I am not. So I'm a great 2D or I'm a great 3D artist. I am not a 2D artist. I can't draw worth beans, and so I had to come up with a good design for Three Pupper Studios and a good design for Shadow BoXR and get it so it was all fit cohesively and things like that. So that part was definitely the hardest, but getting onto App Labs thankfully was reasonably easy once as long as it fit into the guidelines that Meta has set out.
So, I've heard. I mean, the ultimate goal is probably get on the main Oculus store, I would imagine, but I've heard that can be an absolute nightmare.
That's what I've heard too. So I'm a little bit nervous there. I have been trying real hard to keep as well as I can within their um, guidelines and stuff. So I don't anticipate a ton of issues, but I'm sure it'll be a long process to get it actually on there.
In a way, I actually respect that because that means that you're getting games that work. You're getting quality games that have been well vetted before you're on the main store.
Yeah, absolutely. That is one of the things that I like about that is sometimes on App Lab because it's so easy to get into it, like there's a lot of like sort of nickel games. Like I don't know how else to describe it other than like a nickel game. Like you would pay a nickel for it maybe,
Yep.
or they're a dime a dozen kind of like cheap little games. But then the actual Quest store, pretty much all of the games on there are legitimate games. You don't have any of the like tiny little tech demos or things like that.
So, what's next for Shadow BoXR and Three Pupper Studios?
So I plan on working on Shadow BoXR for the next, well, until it's done.
Yeah,
So at least a year or so, I believe. I'm actually actively working on getting it ported to a couple of other platforms as well. Like I want to get it on the Pimax, or not Pimax, the Pico. I want to get it on
sure.
Pico's system and I want to include things like so what one of the big things that I want to include with Shadow BoXR, but I haven't been able to yet because of API limitations, is not having to use your controllers. I want to be able because Meta's hand tracking is actually pretty good, and so I want to experiment with possibly just being able to box with just your hands, and so because that way you don't have to worry about your hands getting all sweaty all over your controllers and stuff. So that's one feature that I'm hoping to within the next year be able to get in there.
That would be cool. You're right. Sweaty controllers is kind of an issue, and just to be able to use your hands would feel fairly natural.
Yeah,
And with Quest 3 coming out, and the pass through and the tracking and depth sensor and all that stuff that it's got, I would imagine that would make things really fun.
yeah, that's the hope.
Anything else you'd like to tell us about? Just going to put you on the spot.
See, I should have prepared some stuff. So just as you're playing Shadow BoXR, if as people are playing it, please let me know if you run into anything like if there's something that you want that it doesn't do, or if you think something could be better in any way. Like I love feedback from players. Literally, I think all but two things that so all of the almost all of the feedback that I've ever gotten, I've turned around and implemented almost immediately, like within a week or two, just because it's great ideas. I'm one person. I can't come up with all the great ideas. And so when other people suggest things, it's like, why didn't I think of that? I am definitely going to implement that. So I recently implemented pass through. So you can actually play in your own environment now. You can box in your room or outside or wherever and see it. And I hadn't thought to do that until somebody was like, what if I accidentally hit someone? I'm like, could do pass through, and then you don't have to worry about hitting someone.
That is cool. I love it when a developer is open to that kind of stuff, because seriously, you're one person, and the more people you get involved from different backgrounds that have different histories with games and gaming and fitness and things like that, they're going to have ideas that is just going to make your game better. And if you're open to that, everyone wins.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's so the mod communities are so great in so many different games, and it's because they come up with amazing content. Like so I can think of so like Skyrim is just so much better with all the mods,
Yes,
or all these other games. They're just so much better with all these mods, and it's because the community is amazing and they come up with these great ideas, but the developers aren't able to implement them quite as quickly or in the same way. And so it's up to the community. But I want it to be up to me. I want to implement things.
absolutely. So, everyone, if you want to win your copy of Shadow BoXR for Quest 2, what you need to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel at Assassin32VR, and then tell me in the YouTube comments for this video why you want a copy of Shadow BoXR. And Ben has generously given us some game keys to give away, and we will get those done on July 12th. We'll give away, I believe we said 3 copies of Shadow BoXR.
Yeah,
Very generous of you. Thank you very much. Also, for anyone that is thinking about getting the game, it is a one-time purchase. It is not a subscription-based situation. So, one-time purchase currently at $9.99, and you own the game and you get to play it. Thank you very much, Ben. It was really great talking to you. Thanks for being my first interview on the channel.
yeah. Thanks so much for having me. I had a blast. It was great talking to you.
All right. We will see you all next time, and that's what's happening.